Hello everyone, good morning. Good morning. I'm so excited that you guys are here. Today we are going to be talking about strategic scheduling so that we're not losing money. So I want to tell you about the 3 mistakes hairstylists make when it comes to their schedule. And I'm also going to share, of course, the tips to do even better and continue to make amazing money. And honestly, it's mostly about being more aware and being more in control of what you're doing. So I know that these mistakes that we're going to go over, none of them are on purpose, right? A lot of it is just because we're not tuned in or we're not focusing on this part of our business that we lose sight of it. So as always, when we talk about mistakes, when we talk about tips, we come to the table with a lot of compassion and love for ourselves because that's what matters the most. And we're always doing the best with the information we have at the time. But today, I want you guys to walk away with a little bit more information. Good morning. Hi, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this. So why is mastering our schedule and being strategic with our schedule important? So as I've alluded to in this juicy title, it's because we can easily lose money. And so a couple of the ways that we lose money in our schedule is by, minimizing how many clients we can see in a day, right? So we end up having these massive gaps in between appointments that we don't really know what to do with them. And so then money's out the window, right? We can't squeeze somebody into that spot. We also lose money by not being able to take control over things. A lot of clients, it's like we're natural people pleasers, right? I feel like hairstylists got into this because we love to just make people happy. And so we're natural people pleasers and we want to be fully accommodating to our guests. And while that's a beautiful thing, I think it can also lose us some business in terms of people not following through with booking with you. So I'm going to share a couple of tips to where hopefully you're going to close more appointments in the DMs or over text and get those, strangers, followers to really follow through on booking with you, which is super important. Okay, so let's go over the 3 mistakes hairstylists are making when it comes to their schedule. So number 1 is you're just not strategic about what you're doing. So this is what I mean. When somebody asks for an appointment, your day is open, right? We're in the building phase of our business. So chances are you have days that are wide open and you end up just booking them whenever they request it, right? So sure, come in at 2. And you might work, let's say 8 to 5, and it's sure, come in at 2, come in at 11, okay? So what we want to be doing instead is just being way more strategic. So what this actually sounds like is starting to book your clients and create an anchor in your schedule. So that is our goal, is we want every day to start with an anchor appointment. So that would be the first appointment on your schedule. Ideally, what this is going to look like is booking someone your first available or your last available, okay? So when Susan is like, hey, I want to see you on Wednesday, you have a fully open schedule. You're not going to say, I'm fully open, come in whenever. You're going to say, okay, cool, I have 8:30 a.m. or I have 4 p.m. Okay, so now you are building an anchor. So let's say she's like, cool, I'll take the 8:30. Now the next appointment that you add to your schedule, you're gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be right after her appointment or your last available appointment of the day. Okay, and then this is how you fill in your days. Now what if Susan said, oh, I can only come in the afternoon? Then you're gonna look ahead and you're gonna say, okay, well, on Thursdays, I can do afternoon appointments. How does that sound? I could do 2 o'clock, right? So we are, when we're building, it is so tempting to be 100% accommodating, take everybody exactly when they say. But as you get busier and busier, you are allowed to be more strategic and more selective. So we're gonna offer her a day where it actually fits into our schedule. So now what I hope you're seeing is that when you look at your schedule and it's a blank day, you're seeing 2 available appointments on that day, okay? And that's where you're going to be starting. Okay, so if somebody asks, we're going to tell them. So that's number 1, is that we're just not being strategic when we're booking our appointments. We're kind of just putting them in. And if you guys are doing online booking, this is a lot of the reason why I feel like online booking is for way later in your career. I would not do online booking if I'm a new stylist and I have blank days in my schedule, okay? Because you're giving your clients control over your schedule. And what happens when you do that is you have an 8:30, you have a 2, and then you don't have room to get somebody in between your 8:30 and your 2, and you don't have room to get somebody in between your 2 and the end of your day. So now you can max 2 clients a day unless you're gonna stay late. Okay, so you just maxed out your income and like cut it in half. So that's why this is so important. Okay, so the second mistake, I've already kind of alluded to it, is just being too accommodating. And what happens with this is that when people are confused, overwhelmed, or unsure, they drop off the face of the planet, right? That's when you get ghosted in the DMs. So I don't know about you guys, when I was behind the chair, this would happen frequently until I figured this out, that in the DMs, they're trying to get a schedule with you. You're going back and forth. It's super annoying, right? First of all. But also when you're just like, tell me when you want to come in. That's so broad and vague and like overwhelming to them that they just might not even know. Okay? And as you have learned by hanging out with me for the past 5 years, it's like when people don't know, they say nothing. And again, they're going to just stop messaging you back. We want to make it as easy as possible for people to say yes to booking an appointment with you. So again, what this sounds like is not, oh my day, tell me when, I'm fully open. It's going to be, which by the way, I know you guys are saying that because you think it's nice, okay? So like it's not that it's bad, it is nice, but it's like not good for business, okay? And not good as like a leader of your clients. So a better leadership, a better sales way to show up in that conversation is going to be, would Tuesday or Wednesday work better for you, okay? Would morning or afternoon work better for you? And then you can give them their option that aligns strategically in your schedule to prevent those wide open gaps where then you can only take 2 clients in a day. Okay, so the last mistake number 3, and then I'm gonna get into a couple more tips here, is timing. Okay, and I know that timing can be a very stressful conversation, but it is so important as stylists to get our timing at least like in our awareness, at least in our thought process, and at least paying attention to it. Because so often, I remember when I was building my clientele, I'd be like, what if it takes me longer? What if I run behind? And so then what I would do is I would stretch out my appointments. Have you guys done this? I would stretch out my appointments so that I would be safe if I ran over. But again, what does that do? If we are taking 4 hours to do a 2-hour appointment, again, now we can take 2 clients instead of 4 clients. So we've cut our income in half. So I want you guys to really not only pay attention to your timing, look at the clock when you start applying a color, look at the clock when you start a foil, and see how long it's taking you. But I also want you guys to make timing a priority and to practice. So here's the thing, when I the first salon that I went to was a little bit stressful, I'm not going to lie, but one of the many things that my mentor did that I appreciated is she actually wouldn't even let me apply a base color until I could apply a base color perfectly in 20 minutes. It might have even been, once I did that, she made me do it in 15 minutes, okay? So until I could do a perfect base color application on a mannequin in 15 minutes, I wasn't even allowed to start doing color on people. So what's amazing is that with practice, we get faster. And I'm not talking about being sloppy. I'm not talking about any of that. We want the quality to be good, but you guys know you're taking 4 sections before you put the foil in. You're re-sectioning, you're wiggling it. Like, come on. We need to be masters of our time. And the reason is not only that your clients appreciate it, but it's also in your own best interest, because you're able to take more clients or add on more services and do all kinds of things like that. So timing plays a huge factor in our schedule. And I do believe that, I've heard a lot of industry experts talking about this lately, and I do believe that our industry, our clients are really moving back to wanting efficient appointments. Okay? Some things like color corrections, of course, that is what it is. It's its own little beast. But otherwise, we really need to be paying attention to that. So those are the 3 mistakes. So Cece says, I have the date, time, and service desired saved in my notes section. So I copy and paste it, and the client can type on what they want. Super simple. When I'm busy or tired, I don't have to think about it. Yeah, that's really cool, because then they can understand what times are available. There's not a lot of back and forth. It's like very straightforward, right? And then you're in control of what they're going to get and when they're going to come in. So that's great. You're not being like, it's not a free-for-all. Oh, I have nobody. When do you want to see me? It's like, no, I have, again, 8 a.m. or 3 p.m., first or last available in the day. Okay, so let's recap the 3 mistakes. And then I just want to give you guys a couple of tips and kind of reiterate a couple of points before I let you go. So the 3 mistakes aren't strategic when booking appointments. So it's not in your awareness that there's maybe a better way to do it where you can make more money. The second mistake is that you're just a little too accommodating, right? We're trying to just people please and make it as comfortable as possible for everybody and let them choose, because that'll make them happy, when in reality, when we are in control and we give people options and we're confident about it, it actually makes people feel more taken care of, right? Than you choose, right? That's way more passive. We want to be proactive. We want to be in charge, and it really puts people at ease. Because obviously they want you to know what the hell you're doing, okay? And then the third mistake was don't master or pay attention to your timing, okay? Huge deal. Work on your timing. In your gaps that you have, practice your foiling. Look for faster, more efficient ways. Really, really fine-tune that process, okay? So what can we do better in these circumstances? The reality is just do the opposite of all of that. So it's if you want to lose money in your business, do those 3 things. If you don't, do the opposite of those. So what that looks like is just really focusing on being intentional with where you're scheduling appointments. If you have an open day, it's going to be first and last. If you have one person on that day, let's say, and it's the middle of the day, because you're learning this now, so whoops. So let's say you have a day that has one person in the middle. Now, instead of beginning and end, we're going to anchor around that appointment. So if it's at, let's say 1 o'clock, you're going to give the person 11 o'clock so it ends when the next one starts, or you're going to give them 2:30 or whenever the next one ends, right? So now that one random appointment in the middle of your schedule, you've built onto it, and you're able to really wiggle things that way. So we want to create anchors in our schedule, especially on empty days. And this is just as important for rebooking people, right? So a lot of times we make people's next appointment in 8 weeks when we probably have a lot of availability on our schedule. This is how we do it, okay? So the second thing is, like I said, we want to anchor with other appointments. So even with days and stuff like that, if people can come in on days when you have other appointments, go there, start there. We want to really do this because we're going to start building consistency in our income. We aren't going to feel like I'm coming in for one person 6 days a week. Like, what am I doing, right? We're going to build consistency in our income. And then the last thing is, again, with timing. We want to, at minimum, be aware of our timing. So where can you start with that? So what I would suggest is over the next 2 weeks, I would just have a blank piece of paper or a blank note in your phone if that's easier for you. And I would just start timing yourself. So just hit the little timer on your phone. When you start a base color, when you start a foil, when you start a balayage, when you start a blow dry, when you start a haircut, when you start the shampoo and tone part of your service. I want you to just focus on data collecting over the next 2 weeks and see where maybe you can either tighten it up or practice in order to get better. I know many of you have your go-to methods, right? Like some different looks require different, techniques and different things. But like if you are always doing a balayage with a certain parting, you can practice that and get faster at it, right? You can practice your base colors. You can practice, how more efficient can I mix my color, right? Am I kind of dragging out, mixing my color, hanging out, singing to the music, whatever. And you can find these little pockets where you can make up time. Again, not with the intention of stressing ourselves out, but with the intention of becoming so efficient that our clients are really happy because they don't have to be at our salon for 4 hours. And so we can see more clients, we can be more efficient business owners, or we can actually have more than 5 minutes to eat our lunch, right? Because you did it a little faster, so now you have like the full processing time to sit and eat something. So these are all the ways that you can get started with not losing money in your schedule and really showing up for yourself. I hope that this has been really helpful. And if you are in a place where you're building a clientele, you want to see more of those high ticket loyal clients, but that's not really moving in your business, you're not really sure how to make that happen, please come over and DM me the word clients on Instagram. It's at Ren Lopa Official. I am so passionate about helping hairstylists get more luxury clients really easy, like in 20 minutes a day. So if you need more clients, if you'd love to see your business double in the next 30 days or 6 months, go ahead and come over and send me the word clients and I'll give you all the juicy details. We can make sure it's the right fit. And yeah, I would love the opportunity to be your mentor. So I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Be on the lookout because next week I have a special live on Wednesday with a hairstylist accountant, and we're going to be able to talk about taxes and even ways that you might be losing money in your finances that you aren't sure of. Maybe we'll talk about different things that you can deduct on your taxes. It's going to be really fun. So we will have 2 live streams next week. I'm very excited, and I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Mwah.